Thank you for coming. This is our presentation of the ACS Multi-Bin Warehouse Management, the add-on for expiration date control and vendor lot traceability. This software gives you the ability to track expiration dates and vendor lot numbers in the system. There's a lot of features built into the system to help automate the selection of goods, manage inventory by expire dates, and to track, for traceability's sake, your lots and vendor lot numbers throughout the system. Right out of the gate, what I could do is I can select reports, inventory reports, and run the vendor lot traceability report. By doing this, here I can select a raw material from a vendor and have a full report card on a trace history of the raw material as it was used in sub-assemblies, finished goods. As you can see here, flour was used to produce dough. Then that dough went into my finished goods for pizza and beer. It went through on these work orders. I know right away which finished goods were sold to customers using this raw material and where it is in my inventory from the raw material, sub-assemblies, and finished goods. In order to do this, it's required that you use lot and serial numbers throughout the entire process, from receiving, building up the sub-assemblies, selecting sub-assemblies into finished goods, and selling those finished goods. There's no extra work, just need to use lot serial numbers in the process. This summary report, you can reflect quantities on the report also, and so you can get a good idea of raw materials into sub-assemblies and the finished goods on what percentage was done in here. So looking at inventory this way, this is looking up in the traceability report from the raw material up through finished goods. And then we can do the finished good backwards, and I can select a finished good here, and I can select that pizza item right here, and we can do a what issued report here. And this will give me a traceability report reflecting all the raw materials and components that went into the finished good lot number. Now here too, you can also print quantities on here so you know what quantities went into your finished goods. So to go back into the item maintenance for one of our finished goods, I'm going to start off from right here. We can see that we're tracking the expire dates and we're reflecting that information right here and vendor lot number. You can click on the lot button to override this information. So what we do is we give you the ability to enter the information at any time in the system, in addition to recording it at the time of receipt of goods. The handheld companies that work with us, they also provide add-ons in order for you to enter this information and scan this information at the time of receipt of goods and looking up data too of your available inventory. So we can override that information here in inventory maintenance, and also we can get at this information in bin location maintenance, and we have the same lookup and drill down features right here. In addition, we have a hold feature, so you can add your own user-defined fields into the files, and we'll track this information forever, and you can input that information here. When you do that, it makes it very easy in order to get at it. Here I'm at receipt of goods on a allotted item here, and I can view here at the time of receipt of goods, I can enter my expiration date and vendor lot number. I can default the expiration date from the number of days from my date of receipt if I desire to, and we have UDF options that can do that. Here are some added UDF fields that I can add to the file. So once again, we can enter this information at the time of the receipt of goods, or if not, if that's not possible, again, you can enter it at any time after. If it were a quality control person who came in and is reviewing the receiving for the day, here I'm in the receiving dock, and I can go through my inventory, quickly view my expiration date and vendor lot numbers that are set in the system. At the time when I enter this information, there's an immediate audit trail that's recorded for the goods. So coming back into this one here, I made an adjustment to the inventory earlier, and this is the expiration date change, and the audit trail, you can see that user Ron made a change to the vendor lot number over here, and you can see that. So here we're looking at our inventory for this item, a lot, and I'm going to pull away the receiving distribution, and I'm going to pull up sales order. So in sales order, I can go into distribution and show how we're displaying the expiration date and vendor lot numbers. In this case, it's showing those two lot numbers that are expired, previously expired. And then here too, this one is also expired. Today is July 22nd, 2014, and this one is also treated as expired because I have a shelf life option set in customer maintenance. I'll show how that we do that in a little bit. The system is sensitive to options that you set in the system for the shelf life requirements. You can set it by customer, or you can set it by item plus customer if you choose to. In this case, this customer is set at 50 days. So if I can select some of this inventory here, it will prompt me and it's warning me that I'm selecting a lot number that is expired. These options are set in security events in the system, whether or not I can review it or even select an expired lot. So as I print the pick sheet, the system will use parameters that we have in the expiration dates, the algorithm set to auto-allocate the inventory. So what I could do is switch over to options. We'll type in options, and we can review what directed picking options are in place. And in this case, we're saying to auto-allocate from the primary bin locations, but for lot serial items, to do it by the first expired, first out, and that's what this option does. As with anything else, these directed picking options start here, company-wide options, and then you can override them in product line maintenance and item maintenance too for individual items if you chose to. The pick sheets reflect the expiration date and vendor lot number on them. And what I'll do here is I'll pull up another sales order, and I can reflect this one right here. In this case, I have pizza, there I have quantity 10 ordered, only 5 allocated, and here I can show you how it's reflecting the expiration date and vendor lot number in the cases where I have some of that data here, of course. In this case, for pizza, if I were to pull up pizza in inventory maintenance, and I can see why it allocated 5, I have some that is expired, so it's way past the expire date. This one expired in 2012. This one expired in 2010. Food's definitely not good anymore. And here it selected the 5 units that it's allocated. Didn't select the 100 here because this is expiring in about 33 days, and the shelf life requirement for this customer is 50 days. In order to invoice any order that does have pre-allocations on it, all we need to do is select it in invoice data entry or shipping data entry, and the allocations that have been reserved for the sales order will pass through. If there's any changes to the allocations, you can make changes at that time. If there is exceptions noted on the pick sheets from the picker. If you use the RF handheld to scan it, of course those overrides and those allocation changes will come through automatically. And that's it. All the lot numbers and bin locations where the inventory was taken out, if there's no exceptions, it's that fast to invoice an order that's been pre-allocated. For manufacturing, if I were to switch over to bill of materials production entry, I can view how we can set the expire date. We provide the fields here, the expiration date and vendor lot number. The expiration date can be defaulted by using a UDF field in bill of material header. Work order, we provide the same fields for completion. And we have a completion here, and you can see here that with the lot number, the expire date, and the vendor lot number. The vendor lot number is practical for raw materials and how the vendor lot number was used in production and so on. You can also assign the vendor lot number for your finished goods if you choose to have an alternate lot number, perhaps to represent a day lot number or what have you. The information that we track for expiration dates, vendor lot number, are used throughout the system. I showed how we can use it for directed picking and directed put away. We can use it to restrict the ability for users to select inventory in expired goods. We can print those on all pick sheets, and we can include it in the system in the restricted inventory. That ends my presentation for expiration date vendor lot traceability. Thank you.